problem here. Pumpkin plus pencil equals sad face times coffee. If I wanted to rearrange this equation to get one of these things by itself, I could. For instance, let's get pencil by itself. So I draw my line to solve my equation. In order to get pencil by itself, I know that I want the pencil on the left side and everything else on the right. So I need to get rid of the pumpkin. If I have a pumpkin and I want to get rid of a pumpkin, I need to subtract a pumpkin to both sides. We learned last year that if I have things that are not the same, like 2x and 2y, I cannot combine them. Well, here I have lots of things that are not the same, and I can't combine them. My pumpkin minus pumpkin goes away. On the left side, I have the pencil. On the right side, I have the frowny face times the coffee minus the pumpkin. Pencil is by itself. That was my goal. I could get other things by themselves too. For instance, if I had this same problem, pumpkin plus pencil equals frowny face times coffee, and I wanted to get the coffee by itself, I draw my line. I want to get coffee on the right side and everything else on the other. In order to get coffee by itself, I have to get rid of the frowny face. I know that they're being multiplied, so to get rid of frowny face, I divide by frowny face. That cancels my frowny faces. But if I divide by frowny face on one side, I have to divide by frowny face on the other. Notice both pumpkin and pencil got divided by frowny face. That gives me the answer pumpkin plus pencil. Pencils are hard to draw. Divided by frowny face equals cup of coffee. Yay! You try one. Here we have Pizza House. That could be Pizza Hut. So anyway, Pizza House equals fish plus pumpkin. Try to get fish by itself. Let's solve. Fish on the right side and everything else on the left. That means I need to get rid of the pumpkin. Just like before, I subtract a pumpkin to both sides. Now, pumpkin is not a pizza house, so it cannot be combined. That leaves me with Pizza House minus pumpkin equals fish. Ooh, horrible fish. Okay, fine. We'll go back to numbers. Here I have the problem 2x plus 3y equals 4x minus r. This is the same as if I had 2 pizzas plus 3 houses equal 4 pizzas minus a dog. Same thing. I want to try to solve to get y by itself. Y is over here on the left side, so this is going to be my y side. The other side is my everything else side. That's where I want everything that is not a y to go. So I get rid of the 2x because it's not a y. That gives me 3y equals 2x minus r. Notice I could combine the 4x and the negative 2x. They are the same. 4 houses minus 2 houses is 2 houses. Now I need to get rid of the 3. Anytime 2 things are being multiplied and we need to split them up, I divide. If you divide on one side, you have to divide everything on the other. So you might notice that the 3 goes under both the 2x and the r. So my answer is y equals 2x minus r, and that whole thing is over 3. Here's another problem. We have x plus y divided by 3 equals mr plus x. Well, once again, we're going to be solving for y. You don't know what you're solving for until the problem tells you. The problem will say something like solve for r or solve for x. I draw my line. Just like we looked at the other day in class, the first thing we want to get rid of is the 3 in the denominator. A problem is a whole lot easier if there aren't any fractions. So I multiply by 3. If you multiply on one side, you have to multiply everything on the other. One thing I did forget to do was choose a y side and choose an everything else side. Whoops. Notice when I multiplied by 3 on the left, the 3's cancel. When I multiply 3 on the right, both things in the parentheses have to be multiplied by 3. That gives me the answer x plus y, because the 3's canceled, equals 3mr plus 3x. Hey, we're getting closer. My last step is to subtract the x from both sides. Something that a lot of people do is they think that by subtracting an x, it doesn't change anything. So if you are of that opinion, put a 1 in front of your x. That is 1x. Now when you subtract, we get y equals 3mr, and then 3x minus 1x is 2x. So y equals 3mr plus 2x. Here we have the problem 1/2 m plus 3 equals 4r plus 2. And we are solving for m. I know. I bet you were wishing r, because then we wouldn't have to deal with that fraction. That's why I chose m. We're going to make the left side the m side and the right side the everything else side. In this case, everything else includes r's and numbers. The first thing we have to do is get rid of the 3. It is not an m. That leaves me 1/2 m equals 4r minus 1. We learned last week the horribleness of dividing by a fraction, so dividing by 1/2. To divide by a fraction, I'm going to change this to multiplication, and I'm going to flip the 1/2 upside down to make it a 2. Remember, dividing by a half is the same thing as multiplying by 2. So I multiply by 2 on the left side. I'm going to multiply everything by 2 on the right side. On the right side, I have 8r minus 2. There we go. That's my answer. My goal was to get m by itself, and I did. So here are some things to remember. First, solve like capture the flag, but you'll have an x side or a y side or an m side and an everything else side. Also, if you multiply or divide by a negative, this is wrong. I think I wrote it on the airplane. If you multiply or divide on one side, is what it should say, you must do it to everything on the other. For instance, if it was 3x equals 9 minus 5x, and I chose to divide by 3, I would have to divide both the 9 and the 5x by 3 on the other side. That's really all that's new. I know this seems like a lot, but go back and watch the video again, or go back and look at specific examples again if you're not quite sure what to do. Do the problems in your notebook. I'll see you tomorrow.